Hello and welcome to the Deception Tips podcast, where you will learn amazing cues to detect deceit that will help you read people like never before. I'm your host, Spencer Kaufman. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Deception Tip 80 of the Deception Tips podcast. We're plugging right along. Let's dive into it. Last week we talked about how it's important for you to believe body language. Now, it's not important for you to believe all body language. It's important for you to believe the unconscious body language. Well, how do you separate that? Pretty simple. Remember, unconscious body language will always be truthful. In addition, it's the stuff that happens subtly. It's unconscious. It's behind the scenes, but it's something you can still see. It's like what goes on the side. It's if you're not paying attention, you don't see it. But if you're paying attention to people, you will see these little slips. We've talked about them many times. There's simple things like gesturing one way, saying another, or hinting at something while doing something else. It's a lot of stuff with symmetricality, if they aren't symmetrical, congruent with the speech or with what they're doing, same sides of the body, having different actions going on, or if something is contradicting something else, like a shoulder shrug on one side and not the other. Tons of different signs that can be exhibited on the body. Nervousness behaviors, tension, stress, all of those different things you can witness on someone's body. You can easily see if someone's happy or enjoying themselves. But usually happy and enjoyment do not play a role in deception unless they're really happy about lying. But that's beside the point. The point is, you need to pay attention to unconscious body language because that is always truthful. So keep that in mind the next time you're in a conversation and you think you should be doing the talking, but someone else is, or if you have anything that you need to ask someone and interrogate them, perhaps have someone else do the talking and you can simply observe. Keep all that in mind because non-verbal, unconscious body language will always lead you to the truth, provided you know what it means and what they are really saying. So today we're going to talk about a different deception tip. We're talking about one that is related to smiling, which is very important and it's very exciting for me. I've been waiting a long time for this tip because, as you may know, or as you should know, because I've mentioned it before, you've probably seen it if you've read any of my books or anything online, is that in 2013, I did a study on smiles and whether or not people could accurately detect a real smile or an enjoyment smile from a fake smile or a non-enjoyment smile. And I found results that were really, really out there compared to a lot of the traditional methods of studying. I was also pretty much the first study to use the software of an eye tracker to determine where people watch, in addition to the self-report of having them tell us where they thought they watched. And I found that people really were able to detect real and fake smiles at about a 50% level, which was no surprise, but I found some starkly contradictory results compared to a lot of the big-name researchers out there, and my article was somewhat controversial, and my findings were somewhat controversial. However, no one has yet reproduced the study or done any studies in response to it to try to prove it wrong or otherwise. They simply accepted it. Therefore, what I found was that people, instead of watching the mouth, as all the other studies have reported that that's where people look when they're detecting a real and a fake smile, I found that people watch the eyes. Now, that's not all people. That's successful people. So people who detected a real versus a fake smile at about 70% or higher accuracy, the accuracy level of like wizards or really good natural or trained body language professionals, they do at about 70 or higher. And I found that anyone who detected smiles at about 70% or higher, the eye tracking software showed that they watched the eyes of the people giving the smiles. Whereas in the past, most people said, no, they watched the mouth. In addition, I found out that people who were primarily watching the mouth, they performed less than chance, so they did worse.
I found a lot of other things in the study. Men-women differences, age differences, race differences or ethnicity, background, etc. You can check all that out if you'd like. The study is available for free on my website at spencerkaufman.com. You can simply type into Google or whatever, facial expression, the ability to detect the difference between enjoyment and non-enjoyment smiles, or type in Spencer Kaufman enjoyment smile study or something like that. Spencer Kaufman facial expression, smiles. You need those keywords into Google and it'll come up on you, or you can just check out the publications on my website. But that being said, we are going to talk about smiles today and how they play into lying and what they do and how you can use them and see them in lies. So here it is. This is deception tip number 80. Smiles are very prevalent in lies. Pay close attention to the symmetricality of the smile, as asymmetrical smiles may be deceptive. Here it is again, deception tip number 80. Smiles are very prevalent in lies. Pay close attention to the symmetricality of the smile, as asymmetrical smiles may be deceptive. So what is this saying? Well, it's saying that you need to pay attention when people are smiling when they're talking to you. Why? Because smiles are used in lying. Now, why are they used in lying? Well, it's really very simple. Remember in a lot of the different deception tips we've talked about with the face and how a lot of expressions come on the face and how when we're in conversation, we are taught that we need to look people in the eye, we need to watch their face. So as a result, the conscious knows that there are a lot of signs that are going to be displayed on the face. Therefore, the conscious says, no, we need to mask the face. We talked about this a lot in episode 37, Mask the Face, on how when people lie, they try to hide the emotions and the expressions on their face more than the rest of the body. Therefore, when you watch the rest of the body, you're going to have a better interpretation of deception and body language and nonverbal, unconscious signs that are displayed. So, if they're masking the face, how are they doing it? Well, generally, a smile is the easiest way to cover up another facial expression. When someone feels sad, they may smile. When someone feels pain, they may smile, because smiles are so full-faced. That means they occur on both sides of the face. They cover the cheeks, the eyes, they get everything. So a smile is a great mask for little signs that may appear on the face. If you watch these smiles, you'll see that they are used as masks and that they may be covering up something. So that is why they may use these smiles to cover up all this stuff on the face, because it's just easy to use them. So if you pay close attention to them, you'll see that they are, in fact, or can be, in fact, a part of deception, because they're covering up a sign. So the smile is deceptive in and of itself, and the sign that was being leaked is showing you another area of which someone is being deceptive. So we're going to talk a lot more about that, and I'll recap that and kind of go over it a little bit more coming up right after this.
Do you have a Facebook account? Of course you do. Like the Deception Tips Facebook page and participate in some online discussion, read more information, write a review, or simply say hello. Like the page today on facebook.com/Deception Tips Spencer Kaufman.
Welcome back to Deception Tip number 80, where we are talking about smiles in lies and how smiles are very prevalent when people lie. The reason is because most people try to mask their face when they lie because they know that people are watching their face. And the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, to mask the face is by simply using a smile. In addition, when someone smiles to cover up something, it's like a second layer of deception. So let's say they're leaking a sign on their face. Well, that is a sign of deception in and of itself. Then they put a smile over it. Now they're being deceptive about the sign of deception. So it's like another layer of deception. Really cool when you see that smile, and then it's almost like you can tell that there is a pattern or cluster going on because they're masking another sign of deception. So what was that other sign? Well, you'll have to interpret that to figure it out. And then you got to realize, well, what the heck were they talking about? So I can see what they were being deceptive about and what they were trying to hide, what was really coming out. But it's not as complicated as it sounds. It's simply you watch for a smile and you determine whether or not that smile is real or fake. If it's a fake smile, then it's obviously a lie because it's fake. So it's a false smile. Someone was giving you a smile that's false. That's an act of deception in and of itself. Now you need to determine if that smile was used to cover up another emotion. If it was used to cover up something else, then you need to get to the root of the problem and determine what they're lying about or what they're trying to hide from you. Otherwise, if they're just pretending to be happy, you'll kind of see that it's not a real smile. Okay, maybe they don't really enjoy the party, so I'll let them go home, whatever the case may be. But it's something to pay attention to. Now, how do you know whether or not a smile is real or fake? Well, reading that study that I did will give you a lot more answers on that, but I'll briefly touch on it here. Generally, if a smile is real, you're going to see some wrinkles in the eyes, in the corners of the eyes. This is commonly called crow's feet. In addition, you're going to see the cheeks really rise up, and there are going to be a couple little lines underneath the nostrils of the nose so that you'll kind of see a very full-faced smile. In addition, real smiles don't last very long. They're very short. Remember how quick micro-expressions can be, about a quarter of a second. A real smile from start to finish will be about 4 seconds or less. That's from start to finish. So when you start to see the smile rise, the cheeks rise up, then it goes into the eyes, then the whole thing finishes. It must be less than 4 seconds. Not must be, but generally will be. Fake smiles are either really quick, like about a 2-second deal or a 1-second deal, or they will last a lot longer on the face because someone is really trying to show you that, yeah, I really like it, thank you very much, and it lasts a long time. So those are a couple things to pay attention to with the smiles. Remember to watch the eyes. You got to see those little crow's feet up there. If you don't, then it is a half smile or a fake smile or a masking smile. Something else is going on. In addition, remember to watch other body language as well. Don't simply look for smiles when someone lies, because they may not always smile when they lie. Watch for many different signs of deception, and if you see the smile, it may be asymmetrical. If it's asymmetrical, then you'll know that there might be some deception. Remember, we've talked about this before with asymmetricality and how facial expressions must be symmetrical. We discussed that way back a long time ago in symmetrical expressions. That was episode number 14. So go ahead and review that if you don't remember much about it, because it was talking a lot about how expressions should be symmetrical when they're truthful, etc. In addition, when someone smiles, if it is asymmetrical, that asymmetricality may show up more on one side of the face than the other. The reason is because our brain is contralaterally related to our body. So the right brain controls the left side of the body. The left brain controls the right side of the body. It's two hemispheres in our brain controlling opposite sides of the body. One of those hemispheres is a little bit more dominant in deception, and then that means that those expressions will be a little bit more prevalent on one side of the face versus the other. If the left side is more expressive than the right, that may indicate false expression, false emotions, and deception. So if the left side is more expressive, that would mean that the right brain or the right hemisphere is more prevalent in deception. Why? Well, because the right is a little bit more free-spirited. It's the creative side. The left is more logical, rules, mathematics. So the left is going to be more truthful, follow the rules. Therefore, on the left side of the face, you will see a little bit more asymmetricality. You'll see that. You'll also see how it kind of pulls back and forth from one side of the face. So if the smile is started on the left because it's a false, then the right will kind of continue to match it. And then the left may also go off sooner because that smile goes away. But you'll see that it's on the left side of the face more. It'll be predominantly there first. The right's going to catch up because the consciousness is going to realize what's happening is I got to give this smile. I need to mask. I need to finish it out. And it's going to try to make it look as symmetrical and as truthful as possible. So pay attention to smiles and whether or not they are a real or a fake smile. If you see it's a fake smile, try to determine if it's simply a fake smile and that's it, or if it's a smile that's trying to cover up some other form of emotion or expression. And if that's the case, you can try to determine what that is. I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Deception Tips Podcast. I hope that you'll share it with your friends, subscribe to the feed, check out the Deception Tips videos, the blog, and take a look at the books I have available. And as always, tune in next week for a new Deception Tip.